Welcome to the Your Life Rocks podcast, where we believe life balance is possible. Yes, even for you. This show is designed to help working moms focus on the things that matter most in life and helping you balance all that life has for you with practical tips from one working mom to another. My name is Jenny Stemmerman, and I am so glad that you're here to hang out with me today. And I can hardly believe that we are already at the end of our 7-week series challenging you to go a little bit deeper this summer. Now, if you're new to the show, let me tell you, we typically have guests sharing their wisdom and best tips to help you grow in all 8 areas of life. Those 8 areas are your faith, marriage, parenting, career, health, home, finances, and lastly, friends and fun. Mixed into all of that, you get me talking about balance, time management, and sometimes it's just something that God has laid on my heart to share with all of you. But since it's summertime, we decided to do something a little bit different. We wanted to go a little bit deeper and give you some good work to do. So, my question, how has this challenge been for you? Hopefully, it's been great. Did you complete all 7 weeks after this week? Before you answer that, let me give you permission to say, not yet. It doesn't have to be a no. It can be a not yet. And maybe you haven't. If that's the case, awesome. But if you haven't, all of the content is waiting for you in the free bonus content area that I have created just for you. Of course, it's also in your podcast player. So whenever you feel the urge to go a little bit deeper, remember that it's all right there for you. And you don't have to do all of the weeks, but who knows? You just might want to. You might want to do all 7. Now, believe me, I know that it can be daunting taking on a big challenge like this. I mean, as I'm looking over my to-do list that is so long and so deep, I have to say to myself, just as much as I'm saying to you, you don't have to do everything in front of you. You do have a choice. Choose what you want to pick up and what you can let go of. And that, my friends, is exactly what this final week is all about. Your choice. Now, before we dive in, let me remind you where you can get your bonus content, where everything is all together for all 7 weeks, packaged nice and neat just for you. You can grab it for free by going to yourliferocks.com, over to our Facebook page, or you can head on over to Instagram. Now, to find me on Instagram, you have to look up your.life.rocks. Remember, the dots are very important on Instagram, your.life.rocks. Or if you just search the hashtag #YourLifeRocks, you'll find me. I'll be there. I'll come up for sure. Now, at the beginning of this show, I talked about balance. And when I talk about balance being possible, I have to tell you, I believe the balance is possible with every part of my soul, every part of my brain, every part of my heart, every part of who I am. And there are so many people out there that will tell you that it's not, that balance is just not possible. But can I tell you a secret? I love it when people say that. Now, I used to not always love it. It used to make me really mad when people would say that, but now I really see it as an invitation to ask them to define what balance means for them. And when they explain it, well, usually they're right. Usually the way that people think about balance, it's defined in a way that really isn't possible. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, it's a time clock or a scorecard where everything has to be even. But who says that that's what balance has to mean? And you guys, I am so passionate about this. And oftentimes people ask me, like, why do you even care so much about if balance is possible or what people even think about that? But let me just lay it all out for you. I have always been a working mom, and being a working mom is hard. Like, really hard. I mean, you're leaving your kids in daycare, you're leaving them with family, or if your kids are older like mine, you're leaving them to fend for themselves while you go and you work and you give your all to a job, to a calling, to something that fills you up, or maybe it's just something that you need to do in order to pay the bills. And then you get to come home and be a homemaker, a wife, a mom, a housekeeper, a chef, and you try your hardest to do it all with asking your family the small questions about their day and to make connections with them and to really connect on a meaningful level. You wake up in the morning and you want to work out, you want to grow in your faith, you want to spend time with your friends, you want to pursue a hobby, or you just want to be, but time is limited. You only have so many hours before work or after work or on the weekends. It's a lot. It is a very full life. And let's not even get into the emotions, the self-talk, the judgment, all of the things that happen between our two ears as we process and overanalyze and beat ourselves up over all of the things that happen in our days. Now, as a working mom, we are doing the very best we can to hold it all together. Then to have someone say that balance is not possible, that something has to give. But you know what happens when you get into that mind place of thinking, I can't do all of these things? What starts to give is your honest to goodness effort to try. And it's a slippery slope. When you start to lower the bar, it can keep going lower and lower and lower until one day you look up and you wonder, who is this person? This is not who I am. This is not who I used to be. And I have no idea how I even got to be where I am. And let me tell you this. Talking about being balanced in your life is not about being perfect. It's not about proving something to someone or wearing that cape or a badge of honor. It's not about being in denial, and it's not about being a martyr. It's about being the very best version of who you are for those around you. It's about learning to lean onto God's strength when you don't have the strength of your own. And it's about choosing each and every day that this day is worth it. It's worth to give it your all and believing that yes, you can do this life, this very full, busy life, and everything that God has given to you, everything that He has called you to do, you can do all of it. And the truth is, I don't want to live in a world where working in my giftings and doing the things that God has naturally put in me and instilled in me to do is not compatible with loving my family and serving them. It just doesn't seem right. It doesn't feel right. And I know that our God wouldn't have created it that way. So who says what balance is supposed to be? Well, guess what? You do. You get to decide what balance means for you, what balance looks like for you. No one else gets to tell you that. You get to decide to live in a world of possibilities where you can have balance, where you can do all of those things. And it's truly up to you to decide what that looks like. You can set your own bar and you can choose to live toward that possibility. Now, if you have never given much thought into thinking about what balance looks like for you or what that definition would look like for you, let me tell you what it looks like for me, how I define balance. I define it by making choices that intentionally align with my actions, with the goals that I've set for every area of my life. And I came up with this definition for myself out of what I was experiencing when my life was so far out of balance that if there's light, there has to be darkness, right? If there's good, there has to be bad, or if there's bad, there has to be good. For me, I know balance is possible because I know what unbalance looks like. I was living it and it was horrible. Now, when I was living so out of balance, I was focused solely on goals for one area of my life. Now, to be fair, I was making goals for other areas of my life, but I didn't work towards them. I wasn't intentionally moving in that direction. My actions were not reflecting my intentions or my goals. So this week's challenge, you get to define balance for you. You get to put it out there, you get to run towards it, and you get to have the freedom of knowing that you are living in a world of possibilities, not of impossibilities. So this is the challenge. Number one, I want you to grab your notebook and begin to write out what a balanced life would look like for you. Now, this is not a perfect life. It's a balanced life, and there's an important distinction between the two. And if you're not quite too sure how you would want to define balance, feel free to borrow my definition and give yourself time to just kind of adjust it and feel what feels right for you as you're living it out. But whether you use my definition or you use your own definition, really journal it out, explore it, and daydream a little bit, like get into some details. Think about like, what would balanced living look like in motherhood for you? What would being balanced with your health look like for you? What about being balanced in your finances look like for you? Because it's a little different. So for example, finances, right? We could say being balanced in our finances would be being debt-free, having money in savings, being able to invest. But those are more goals, not so much balance. I mean, balance is the other stuff too, right? So it might be being debt-free and taking amazing vacations with the kids, or being able to splurge on the things that make you feel really, really great. Being able to buy the clothes that you want to buy or do the things that you want to do financially, but still be stable, to still be a good steward of everything that God is giving to you. Now, it's going to be different for everyone. Some people might really want to invest. Some people might really want to spend. Some people might want to spend on vacation. Some people might want to spend on toys that you want to have for your family, like RVs or boats or ATVs, all of those things. So think about what balance looks like for you and your family, because it's different and it doesn't have to be what you hear or what you see as the quote unquote perfect life. So once you journal all of that and you daydream a little bit, let's move on to step 2. Now, once you have exhausted everything, I want you to read it back to yourself. Everything that you journaled, just read it back and see if you can summarize it into one sentence. You might have to first summarize it into like 3 sentences and then look at those 3 sentences and see if you can take it down to like 1 sentence. So, for example, to me, life balance means that I am living with intention to reach goals in each area of my life. Now, I can go into a lot of details on what that looks like, but I know what that means. I know what that means to set goals and to work towards reaching them in all of those areas of my life. So that 1 sentence can be very simple, but it is also very deep and meaningful in my heart because I know what it means for me. So why is it important to have it into 1 sentence? Because this is going to become your truth. This is going to become your focus when you are working to create more balance in your life. And that's what this challenge is really all about, is helping you create more balance in your life. But if you have it down to 1 sentence, you can memorize it. You can write it down. You can save it on your phone. You can put it where you're going to see it. You can check in with it. When you feel like you're going crazy, when you feel like things are just way too out of control, and you're like, I need more balance in my life, you can look back at the sentence and say, okay, well, this is how I'm defining balance. So how can I get more of this in my life? Because it's one thing to say, I want more balance in my life or I want more peace in my life. But what does that even mean? What does it mean to want more balance in your life? Well, it means what you want it to mean. So let's first get clear on what it is going to mean, and then we can start working towards getting there for you. Because here's the thing, everything that we've talked about in this challenge over the last 7 weeks is all good. But what makes it great is when you actually do it, when you apply it to your life. And it is a process. It's not a one and done kind of thing. It's going to take time to go through it all. It's going to take time to have it grow and set in. I want you to think about balance as a verb. It's something that you do. It's not a place that you arrive to. Imagine standing on a beam or a curb in the parking lot with 1 foot. If you've ever done this with your kids, we do it all the time whenever we see curbs. We jump on them and we walk on them like they're balance beams. So next time you're doing that, I want you to think about this. If you're standing on that curb with 1 foot, balance is not when you're steady. It's not when you're just standing there. Because when you're steady, you're just standing on 1 foot. You're not balancing, you're standing. But when you wobble and you try not to fall and your arms are flailing around, you are intentionally balancing yourself. It takes effort, but it's worth it. That's exactly what balance is like in your life. You know, it's keeping yourself from falling and being intentional about which way you need to sway in order to balance it out. It takes effort, but you are truly an amazing woman, and I know that you can do it. And God has called you to be all of these things. So why wouldn't He equip you to balance them all too? And when you can get that, and when you can start going after it in your life, and you start actually experiencing it and living into it, there is no better feeling in the entire world. Now, if you've listened to the show before, then you've likely heard me talk about the 3 pillars to balance. So yes, while you're defining balance for yourself, there are 3 things that really make it a reality. And everyone that I ask what balance means to them, these 3 things fit into that. These 3 things are pillars that make whatever definition you have come into reality. Number 1 is giving your life to God, like fully, like not holding anything back, truly living for Him. Number 2 is being in community. And number 3 is following systems that help ease the burden and keep you focused. Now, all of these things are part of the Life Balance system and our new Life Balance app. In the app, you will experience a 20-week program that will walk you through focusing on God's will for your life building habits, learning to build on your habits to reach your goals in each area of your life, and focusing on identifying the true things that will help you grow and the things that you learn will actually stick. Plus, it has tools to keep everything together for you. In addition to the courses that I just talked about, it has podcasts so you can listen to all of our shows all in one place, plus a link straight to our community on Facebook and 2 of my favorite tools. Number 1, you'll have your morning routine creator. It'll help you start your day with intention and really move things forward in your life in a huge way. It also has your Sunday prep checklist that houses everything you need to do to prep for the best week ahead. And I say a Sunday prep checklist, but you can set it up for whatever day you want. Plus, you'll get all of the motivational messages, reminders, and tips throughout the week to help you build a life that rocks. Now, talking again about the courses that you will find in the app, the whole Life Balance program is available easily at your fingertips with assigned progression that will guide you through the learning and help you really apply all of these fundamentals in a way that is not overwhelming at all. I mean, if you can listen to this podcast, you can do this program. Now, the goal with this app is to help you create more days where you feel on top of the world. You know those days, the ones that you feel like everything is going your way. You have joy and abundance, you are productive, and you just feel light. Well, you can have more of them. And the best part is that goodness will flow over to your family, your friends, and everyone that you work with. This app was created to be your guide, to help you truly be the rock star of your life, to help you build a life that rocks. Now, the app is launching this month with special introductory pricing for those that want to do the full program. There is also a free version of the app as well that has a lot of great tools and resources for you too. So search for the Life Balance app in your app store or go to yourliferocks.com for more details. Now, next week we are back to our regular podcast, but with a slightly new format that I think that you will be really, really excited about. We'll be focusing in on one topic every single month and diving deeper on how that topic touches a couple different areas of your life. And for the rest of this month, we will be joined by special guests to help you become a better communicator. You know, communication is key for your career, your marriage, and really every interaction that you have. It's going to be a really great series, and I cannot wait to share it with you. So until then, keep building a life that rocks. Bye.